I love toddlers, don't you? My favorite part when I was a toddler mom of their day was nap time. Actually, I take that back. My second favorite part of the day was nap time. My first favorite part of the day was bedtime, if I'm being totally honest. Toddlers really do give a lot of pushback. And it can be challenging when we're trying to manage toddler behavior as it relates to sleep, because you're likely managing their behavior all day long. So you're constantly picking your battles. However, you are gonna get to a point in your toddler's growth and development where they may not need to nap anymore. But what does that look like? How do we drop the nap? And when do we know that it's time for them to no longer be napping during the day? Hi, my name is Sarah, and as the owner and certified pediatric sleep expert of Yours and Baby Sleep, I help toddler families all the time get their sleep in order. I'm so happy that you have found my channel and that we are here today to help you manage your toddler's naps. Let's get right into it. What are some signs that your toddler is ready to drop their nap? The first thing I always look at is your child's age. I really don't recommend dropping a nap or even attempting to drop naps altogether or shaving down naps, any of the above, until they're at least 3 years old. It is very unlikely that they do not need nap time sleep before this age. So I really would like to maintain some behavior support to make sure that we are definitely getting a solid hour-and-a-half nap in at least every day until your child is the age of 3. If they are 3 years old and older, then we are in appropriate developmental territory to consider dropping the nap. So let's talk about signs that your toddler is ready to do so. Our first sign is the nap start time actually just keeps creeping later and later and later. So likely your toddler is taking a nap sometime between 12:30 and 1 o'clock every day, and it's probably lasting about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. At this age, at 3 years old, you might not really be getting a 2.5-hour nap anymore, and if you are, it means that they're not ready to drop it likely because they're getting a lot of daytime sleep. If that 12:30 or 1 o'clock start time starts creeping to 1:30 and then it creeps to 2, and then we're like at 2:30 and it takes them forever to fall asleep, which means that their end of the nap time isn't until like 3:30 or 4, then we're really cutting into bedtime. So as our toddlers are able to stay awake a little bit longer and as they need more sleep pressure to actually fall asleep, then this is one sign that the body is starting to adjust to not needing daytime sleep. Another situation that is similar to the nap schedule shifting later is the bedtime timing shifting later. So if you are experiencing your toddler actually going down for their nap at their normal time, 12:30 or 1, and it's their normal length, an hour and a half or 2 hours, but bedtime is becoming this long and arduous process, and they're not falling asleep until 8:30, 9, even 9:30, and they're 3 years old, this could be another sign that, again, they need an increased amount of sleep pressure in order to fall asleep, and they're really struggling with that because they're getting so much daytime sleep. This other reason, and this one's important for children who are sleeping independently, so it's important to keep in mind that I am really speaking to toddlers who know how to fall asleep on their own and sleep throughout the night and don't typically wake up at night, except for, right, like the normal, my teeth are bothering me, I have a cold, there's a cough, every once in a while. But if your toddler is going to sleep on their own at bedtime, sleeping their normal 10, 11, or 12 hours, whatever they need, and waking up at their normal daytime hours, right? That's your norm. And then we start to see that night wakings are coming back, or they're starting to wake up like an hour earlier than they normally do. This is another sign that your toddler's body is changing and we may need to shave down or remove daytime sleep altogether. What I want to see is the combination of really all of these things that I just mentioned for at least 2 or 3 weeks consistently before we make the decision to drop the nap altogether, because we know that sleep evolves and changes and our toddlers like to trick us and do different things every single day. So what worked last night for bedtime might not work tomorrow night for bedtime. And that's all behavioral. But when it really is something going on in their body, then we're gonna see it consistently happening for 2 or 3 weeks. So like your naps are being pushed later for 2 or 3 weeks. Your bedtimes are getting really hard. The early morning wakings are not just happening, 2 or 3 days in a row. It's really going on for a long time, and they're 3 years old, at least. This is when I wanna explore shaving down the nap. So cutting off a half hour of the nap, or maybe even an hour, to see if shortening the nap length fix any of those problems. And if shortening the nap length for a week does not fix any of those problems, then what I want you to do is drop the nap altogether. When we drop the nap altogether, it's really important to make sure that you are not taking them in the car at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, because they're likely gonna pass out, and that's gonna really throw off your bedtime. It's important to keep in mind to give their body some time to adjust to this. Like, they have never, for days in a row, likely been up for 12 full hours before bedtime. They're probably gonna be a little bit of a hot mess around dinner time, so make sure that you are prepared with a lot of patience and able to dig deep, and don't be afraid of an early bedtime. When your toddler is dropping their nap, I want them in bed at like 6:30, 7 o'clock, if you're able to do that. Everybody's family schedule is different, right? Especially if you're working parents, if you have older siblings who have sports and after school activities. If you're able to make an early bedtime a priority, most of the time as your toddler is dropping their nap, you're going to see that it is not going to negatively affect their overnight sleep or their early mornings. So listen, this is something that can be really tricky, and a lot of parents love to have support during this time, especially if you do have a really great sleeper and you're really nervous to mess up their sleep, which you won't because you're smart. You can do this, I know you can. But this is what I help parents through all of the time. This is exactly what my mission is here in this life, is to make sleep sustainable and easy and manageable for you. So if you're in the middle of trying to drop your toddler's nap, or if your toddler is napping and still waking up multiple times a night, or sleep is just a hot mess, get in touch with me. The best way to do that is to check out the caption below. I have all of my contact information, my website, how to book a free assessment call with me, and I'd love to talk to you more about my one-on-one sleep programs. And while you're scrolling down to check that caption and my contact information, I would love to know, how old is your toddler? Are you dealing with this? Leave a comment. I love to interact with my followers and to give you support right here to see if I can give you any type of actionable steps to get your toddler's sleep in order. Do you have a toddler? If you do, like the video so that I know how many toddler moms are coming. And also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because you'll be the first to know when I publish my latest sleep content. As always, from my living room to yours, thank you so much for joining me today, and I can't wait to see you next time.